So moving forward, the Intercontinental title was on the line. Our boy Gunther against Drew and Sheamus. Sheamus or Seamus.
Yeah, you can't even get it straight anymore. Sheamus.
Fuck, I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Tired of watching the wrestling. But I'll give him Sheamus for this one. They beat the out of each other.
Oh, boy.
For some reason, by the way, Titus O'Neil was on color, and he spent the first 5 minutes of the match, every time somebody threw a chop, he's call the police. But I guess,
this is not the role for him.
Not the role for him.
No.
I love Gunther, and I liked this match, and I like all three of these guys in their own way, in their own fashion. And again, it was a three-way. And the thing that bothers me throughout, even though they did a lot of good stuff that we'll comment on, is there's invariably the long stretch where one of the three motherfuckers just disappears. Even on the wide shot, do they roll under the ring? Is there a trap door? And then they come back at the right time, but over and over again. And it's the same thing in every match. And it's distracting, to me when you can't even find the other guy and he's gone like he's been abducted rather than just sidelined with a super kick or whatever. But that's what you got to put up with the three ways.
It makes it easier to put up with that, and I agree with you, when the crowd is losing their shit at what's going on. That helps. Because
these guys they all three have the same kind of smash mouth and lay it in style and everything, and it was a big fucking fight. And Sheamus got a standing ovation for 30 of the broad arms. And, they did some good false finishes, and the people were losing their shit. And then again, finally, it came down to Drew and Sheamus not being able to coexist with each other, and they wore each other out. And then Gunther came back in right as they were about to fucking finish it. Gunther came back in with a splash off the top and a power bomb on Sheamus on Drew, and then a power bomb on Drew. Boom, 1, 2, 3. So thank God the right result. You can't critique it like a match because you can't keep track of what go. It's just they trade off doing spots with each other in turn, and then the third guy will come in and break something up, and then they'll tag back out or whatever. So you can't really follow it as a match, but they beat the shit out of each other and the people liked it. And Rick Rubin was in the front row.
Looking his age.
Which is apparently, again, what's the matter with me, Brian? Everybody I've ever known, it's either the same age as me or potentially even younger, looks like shit. And I remain on the steady curve that I've been. I started out looking kind of like shit, and I've not deviated. But everybody else started out looking good, and they've submerged into total shit.
It's like the worst episode of The Twilight Zone I've ever seen. This match was great, and I wasn't looking forward to it because I like Gunther. I'm not a big fan of three-way matches, and I've been bored with Sheamus and Drew. But at some point, with them all kicking the shit out of each other, they got me into it. And the crowd getting so into it got me further into it. So you could ignore things like people disappearing. But man, when you see all these other matches everywhere, where there's just a spot in the middle of the match or at the end of the match where they stop and they just start trading stuff, and we always say, yeah, those forearms look like shit, or the punches look like shit. Everything they did here looked amazing and looked like it hurt, and it probably did, and it kept going and going. Like you said, it's hard to critique it like a regular match because of various things, but
it was a fight and a struggle, and even if one thing didn't logically follow the other, the emotion and the passion they had and the way that they were swinging and not just hitting each other hard or recklessly, but, hard in safe places, laying stuff in and working, and body language follow through. That's what fires fucking people up.
In-ring brawl. That's what it was. It was an in-ring brawl, like what you would see in Mid-South Wrestling. Maybe not to this level, but just stiff, and you can't look at that and go, ooh, I want to do that. It's impossible.
Yeah. Good analogy or good comment, whichever. And there needs to be more wrestling going on where you can look at it and say, wow, I like watching this, but no, I don't want to do that. Because we've enticed too many people who's, oh, I can do that. Anybody can do that shit. But yes, but anyway, and Gunther retains the Intercontinental title. And remember, I said, was it yesterday when we did the last show? Or maybe it was the 2 days ago when we did the one before. Why can't they start a reign for Gunther like they've had for Roman Reigns? And because he's already had the Intercontinental title for longer than most people because they bounced it around like a fucking ping pong ball. So really start doing something with him being a dominant champion. Corey, that's for... We knew what else was going on, but nevertheless.
I think he's going to get the record. I think he's going to beat the Honky Tonk Man's record. That's the last. I'm serious. I think that's something that was going to happen.
You know, I was just thinking it would be not only the funniest thing that ever happened, but also... and I'm not actually advocating for this. See, this is one of the ideas that guys used to have in the car. The wrestlers, when we'd be driving back from the show, we'd have an idea for booking and we'd pop ourselves, but we would never dream. I would say the best thing was when Gunther has a big ceremony on Raw or wherever the fuck for breaking the Honky Tonk Man's record, that they'd play the music and there would come Wayne and challenge him. But see, then just to see, actually, it would be entertaining for the boys to see Wayne's reaction with the one and only time that Gunther would chop him. And then he would fucking, you motherfucker, and leave. Anyway.
See, if that was on an indie show, he would have found a way to sing his theme song 3 times and not do anything.